I just confronted my Trump supporter friend from high school by sending them a clip of Donald Trump saying something absolutely wild, and I want to let you know how it went, because I am done being nice to MAGA from now until election day. There was a while there where I tried to meet them where they are, and I still will do that with some MAGA supporters who I think can be redeemed, but I'm going to begin calling Trump supporters out for being unpatriotic, for being the antithesis of what America stands for, because they will continue running defense when Donald Trump says stuff like this. Again, there are probably some nice Trump supporters who are on the fence who can be pulled back, but for people like this, people like my friend who I know are hardcore Trump supporters, there is no more being nice. So I sent them a clip of Donald Trump saying, "You burn an American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. Gotta do it. You gotta do it," said Donald Trump. He then said, "They say, sir, that's unconstitutional. Well, make it constitutional." And this clip right now should be on the headline, should be on the front page of every single newspaper, should be headline news, should be played on repeat on every single news station. And why isn't it being played on repeat? I want to spend this entire video covering the failure of the mainstream media to responsibly talk about Donald Trump's authoritarian threats. We have a mainstream candidate running for president in the United States who says that we should undermine the Constitution. He has said we should terminate the Constitution. He said it again, make it constitutional. Go against what the founders wrote. Go against what the Constitution says. And CNN is barely even talking about it. This should be on the front page of the New York Times. Donald Trump undermines Constitution, but nobody really cares. So what I said to my friend is, isn't this a crazy thing to say? I would never burn a flag. I love America and just bought a massive flag. But this is part of our First Amendment. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. To change the First Amendment is a slippery slope, and everything I said in that message is true. I just bought a massive American flag for my apartment. It's actually way too big. I accidentally ordered it to my parents' house, and my mom was like, "Adam, what are you going to do with this massive flag?" I said, "Don't worry about it. It's just patriot stuff." Also, this is a slippery slope. What happens when Donald Trump someday says, you know, burning an American flag, we got to make that so it's against the Constitution. Also, anybody who criticizes me, let's make that against the Constitution as well. Donald Trump has said he wants to rewrite, not only rewrite, but terminate some rules, laws, and regulations, even those found in the Constitution, and people just forget about it. So that brings me back to the failure of mainstream media, mainstream news sources, think CNN, think MSNBC, even places like Fox News, who pretend to be a beacon of democracy and who pretend to care about America. They have shown a complete lack of care, and then CNN acts like they have no responsibility at all. So watch this clip of Donald Trump taken just today.
His leg. I want to get a law passed. Everyone tells me, "Oh, sir, it's very hard." You burn an American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. Got to do it. We got to do it. They say it's not constitutional. They say, "Sir, that's unconstitutional." We'll make it constitutional. We're going to make it constitutional. But you burn an American flag, you go to jail for 1 year. That was terrible, what happened at the convention in Chicago.
I just want to reiterate, I would never personally burn an American flag. I just don't see myself ever doing that. I do appreciate the American flag and what it stands for, but that is part of our First Amendment right. Part of the American flag, part of the imagery behind the American flag is the ability to do what you want, is the ability to burn it. And Donald Trump acts like a patriot. He has this veil of patriotism where he pretends to be a patriot, and inside that is wrapped authoritarianism. So Donald Trump only pretends to be a patriot so he can achieve his authoritarian ends, whereas we actually believe in the true ideals of America, because we say, hey, even though we would never burn an American flag, even though we appreciate the American flag, it is totally your right to assemble. It is totally your right to do whatever the hell you want, as long as you're not harming anybody else, and burning an American flag does not harm anybody else. And the thing is, Donald Trump has been saying this since 2015. Here's another clip of Donald Trump saying this about a month ago, but just know that Donald Trump has been saying the same, using the same authoritarian rhetoric since 2015. Also, look at Donald Trump's face in this still image. It's kind of funny.
And we do not need more people who want to burn our flag. I watched yesterday and the day before, they're burning our American flag. And I said, I know they say it's unconstitutional. Well,
it is.
Make it not unconstitutional. You burn our American flag, you should get immediately mandatory 1 year in jail.
And if CNN and MSNBC, if they were all responsible, they would explain to you guys the slippery slope that everybody should already understand. If you start to jail people for burning an American flag as dictated by Donald Trump, what happens when he decides, when he dictates that people who dissent should be locked up in jail for 1 year, that people who talk bad about him, that press, people like me, people like the journalists over at CNN, what happens when Donald Trump says that we should be jailed for saying bad stuff about America or criticizing him? I mean, this is a very real scenario that could happen, and if you don't believe me, look no further than the clip I just played where Donald Trump says, you know, I know this is unconstitutional, but make it constitutional. Donald Trump wants to totally rewrite the Constitution, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I don't see any of the mainstream media sources talking about this, because Donald Trump is somebody who is a fundamental threat to our democracy. And about 6 months ago, when I came on the scene, I was saying we should be very nice to Trump supporters and try to inch them our direction, because we have about a year until the election and we cannot be losing or alienating voters. Now, we have done all that we can. I think we have pulled a lot of people towards our side, but with 60 days to go, it is time to stop pulling punches. It is time to go insane, unhinged mode on MAGA and explain that Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy, that Donald Trump tried to subvert the will of the American people in every single way that he could, not only on January 6th, but during the months leading up to January 6th. So when I talk to my friend who claims to be a patriot and I confront him on what Donald Trump said, I do that with the intention of applying pressure to people who are hypocrites. And the thing is, my friend never responded. Now, he saw this 24 minutes ago, and I'll be charitable. Maybe he's at work, maybe he's working and he saw it but couldn't respond yet. That is a very, very real scenario. But if you're going to be supporting an anti-American, unpatriotic lunatic like Donald Trump, you better have a good defense. Let me swipe up again and see if he's responded. There is still no response from my friend, and it's just insane to me that these people can't even defend the person that they are supporting. So the moral of the story is that it is time to apply pressure to Trump supporters. That's part of the reason I went so hard on Mike Lindell. One of the reasons is because I debated him a few months back in Wisconsin, and he decided to get an entire crowd around me shouting at me when I was still rather inexperienced, and now he was on our turf and he was going to come in here and try to defend Donald Trump, and I wasn't going to let him dictate the rules of the conversation. Last time I talked to him, he had me on my back foot. He was yelling at me, asking me stuff about election fraud, but I said, no, this time we are going to dictate the rules of this conversation. We are going to talk about what I want to talk about. We are in my home territory at the DNC, so yeah, you have to answer for Donald Trump and your crazy election fraud lies, and that is why I went so hard on Mike Lindell. Some people said that I was too mean to him, but I think with about 70 days to go, I think it's 71 days to go until the election, I think it is time to apply as much pressure as we possibly can, and I hope you guys agree. I hope you guys are lockstep with me, ready to apply pressure to MAGA throughout this election cycle. If you are, all that I ask is that you leave a like on the video, comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button so you can be a part of this beautiful community that we're building, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.